Hello, boxing fans around the world. Thanks once again for joining us here on Talkin Fight for another episode of Knuckle Up. Today we have a very special guest in the den with Cedric Benn, young man out of Team GB's ranks. Now he's pro. He's here to talk about his career and how he's doing. Quite frankly, how are you doing?
Oh, it looks like he's frozen. You there, Calum?
Oh no!
refresh the page. But yeah, we have Calum French, UK boxer, doing very, very well in his career. He's 1-0 right now. But his skill level shows a higher level than that, and hopefully he can hop on here to elaborate a little bit more on his professional career. He's 1-0 right now. Had a tough debut against get his opponent's name here, Rustin Fathulim, who Calum French, he clearly won the match, and that was his pro debut, and here he is. Perfect. Welcome to the show, champ. Well, take us back to the beginning. How did you first get involved in the sport, and why?
It's a good story, actually. It started in this kitchen right here. I don't know if it was aired in the US, but there was a series on telly in the UK called the Contender series with Sylvester Stallone and Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yes, yeah.
Did you just watch that? Did you just? So it had like Alberto Mora in, Alfonso Gomez, Peter Manfredo. Wow. So me and my brother used to watch that in the living room, and after the main fights at the end, we used to come in the kitchen here. And we didn't have two pairs of gloves. We only had one pair of gloves. So we used to have to use one glove each and one of my mum's slippers each. And we used to come in the kitchen and fight in the kitchen. And I used to ask him, I used to say, can you take us up to the local boxing club? Can you take us up? And he took us up. I was only 9 at the time. You had to be 10 to start. So when I went into the local boxing club, I lied about my age. I said I'm 10. And just because I wanted to box so much. And he said, he asked us my date of birth, and I just went completely blank. I didn't even think that asked us anything like that. So I got the date of birth wrong. And anyway, and he went, lying on you. I went, I'm 9. He went, well, if anyone asks in the gym, make sure you tell them you're 10. And then went from there. I started at a club called Highfell Amateur Boxing Club. I had my first 5 or 6 fights for them. And then I moved to Berkeley Boxing Club, where my career took off a bit. I started winning national titles for Berkeley, and won a few junior national titles. Boxed for my country after that.
Wait! You're kind of skipping ahead. How much between you first coming into the gym and like having your actual first match?
I was 9 when I started, and you had to be 11 to box. So I went in the gym when I was 9, I trained for 2 years in the gym before I had my first bout when I was 11, and won my first bout. I remember that experience. It was in a working men's club. I don't know if you know much about working men's clubs over here in the UK, but they're just where all the old blokes go for a piss up, basically.
I got you. I got you.
I remember you were allowed to smoke inside then as well. So when you come in at the box, it was like the full room was just filled with smoke. It was like you had smoked a 20 box of Lambert and Butler before you got in the box. You know what I mean? But that was my first experience of actual contests in that.
Nice.
Like I say, I moved to after a couple of years at Highfell. I wasn't getting that many fights there, so I moved to Berkeley Amateur Boxing Club. Don't know if you know much about Berkeley, but it's one of the most successful clubs in the country. Most national champions, train the most national champions, most team members on Team GB.
Nice.
So I started boxing at Berkeley, won my first junior national title at Berkeley. And then went from there, boxed for my country a few times as a junior, all the way through to senior.
Okay. Well, might have cut off a bit. Just the champ was just talking about his international success. Is some of his competitions he had at the international level. It's actually funny. I was just going to ask him about that because I got his highlights on my other laptop over here. I was going to ask him about that. So hopefully he comes back in a couple of minutes. Like I said, man, he's pardon me, Graham?
I was just curious whether he went to the Olympics. Was he part of the Olympic team that went
No,
to Tokyo?
Oh, here he is. He's
Hello,
back.
mate, I'm back. Aye. Where was I? Where did I get up to there?
You were just talking about you just started to get onto the international scene, your competitions at the international scene.
Yeah. So I won my first senior national championship, which put us number 1 in England in like the men's category in the seniors, and then broke onto the international scene. And then won my first few tournaments for GB. I went unbeaten for quite a while for GB. 35 fights. I went on a 35 fight unbeaten win streak.
Nice.
Which was halted in 2017 by a man called Yuri Shestak from the Ukraine in the European semi-finals.
They have a strong Ukraine has a strong amateur team, right? So yeah, that's
I was a tough bloke. I'd boxed him earlier in the year. I'd boxed him in the Stranja tournament in Bulgaria, and I'd beat him. And then the rematch was in the European semi-finals in Ukraine, in his hometown, and he beat us on a 3-2 split, which I thought I won. Like, but it's on YouTube. You can have a watch of it. It's a good fight. It's a close fight. Like, but it was one of them. It could have went either way.
When you lose a split decision in the other person's hometown, you basically kind of won. But
you've got to swallow it though, haven't you? You kind of go through and robbery. I got out the ring because the BBC over here in England, they cover the European Championships and the World Championships. So when I got out the ring, the BBC came up to us with a mic and they were like, "Calum, you were hard done by there. Was it because were the judges on his side because it was in his hometown?" And I thought to myself, he wants me to just say, "Oh, I got robbed, this, that." But I just swallowed it and said, "Listen, he was the better kid on the night and he got the nod."
Yeah.
Which I mean, if you can't scream in robbery and that, people just say, it was a close fight. It could have went either way. Do you know what I mean? You've got to got to roll with the punches in these amateurs. You don't get many decisions going your way in that Eastern Europe.
Exactly. I usually when I'm talking to a boxer, I have 2 laptops set up on my other laptop here. I usually have the boxer's highlights on. So I was watching your pro debut before. Now I have this fight with Enrico La Cruz. This was in the finals, 2021 finals. It doesn't say where, but
that was in Lithuania. That was my last amateur tournament before turning pro. It was called the Sokicast tournament in Lithuania. La Cruz, actually, that was the 3rd time I'd boxed him. I'd boxed him in a few earlier international competitions. I beat him 3 times, so he probably hates me. But he's a good fighter. He's an experienced fighter. He's been to 2 Olympics. He hasn't medalled, but he's got that amateur experience, and he was a decent fighter.
Nice. And then speaking of the Olympics, I know Team GB is loaded. Last Olympics, you guys were either in the finals or in silver or bronze in almost all the finals matches. But I know it's tough just getting onto the team, especially in your weight class. So that was just a situation where you could have went, but you and I forget which one of the McCormick brothers is in your weight class, but basically either one of you guys could have went, correct?
Yeah. So from after the Rio Olympics in 2016, I was the number 1 at 60 kilos. So I was the number 1 at 60. Luke was the number 1 at 64, and Pat was the number 1 at 69. So as we drew closer to this 2020 Olympics, I had it in my head I was going at 60, and Luke was going to 64, Pat was going to 69. But the year before the Olympics, the IEBA decided to change the weights around.
Oh, so yes.
Due to gender equality, 2 weights had to get taken out of men's to add 2 weights to the women's. So 60 kilo was one of them weights. So my weight got taken out, which meant I had to move up to 63, which was already occupied by Luke. Luke was at 64, so he he had like ranking points in that at that weight already, so it would have been hard to knock him off that spot at 63 kilo. So I didn't get a chance to go to the Olympics. I was meant to go over as a sparring partner to help Luke and that prepare, but I caught COVID a couple of weeks before I meant to go, so I was just like, it just wasn't meant to be that Tokyo for me. Like,
well, this could be kind of like a sort of a blessing in disguise, because like normally when guys come out of the Olympics, especially when they put up a good showing like the McCormick brothers did, everyone knows who they are, so they already have a target on their back. In your situation, and like me personally, I do my best to keep up with all the top boxers, pro and amateur. You kind of slipped under the ranks, under my radar, so I didn't hear about you. But so I'm saying that might work in your favor, as right, not too many people know about you going into the pro ranks. I might think might take you lightly, not knowing that not knowing your skill level is just as high as the top guys coming in. So might work in your favor to sneak up on people. Oh, I think he paused again.
Did you notice that Ray has asked a couple of questions here?
Oh no, I didn't have my thing on. Look who it is.
Anyway, Ray's asking, who is tougher, De La Cruz or Soufiane Omaha? So if Calum gets back, back on here. And
Mike, I was doing my best to hold it down, and
no, you held it down, brother. You held it down. I was watching. You held it down. Technical difficulties. Well, you know what it is.
Technical difficulties worldwide, apparently.
Yeah, I know, man.
There he is. He's back.
Sorry, mate, I lost you there. You're saying you do your best to keep up with the.
Yes. I was saying I do my best to keep up with the top boxers at the pro and the amateur level. You kind of slipped through, under my radar, just because, like I said, I knew all the guys from Team GB, and just because at the Olympics and the big tournaments. So going into the pro level, the McCormick brothers, they already have a target on their back because everyone already knows who they are. What I'm saying with you, it might work in your favor, just kind of slipping under the radar, people not knowing who you are, and might take you lightly, not knowing that your skill level is just as high as those other guys, right? So it might work in your favor to try to sneak up on them like that.
Well, yeah, I definitely made. Obviously, I went to all the major tournaments and that the rest of the team went to. It was just obviously what happened with the weights when they changed the weights around that took away my opportunity to go to the Olympics. But like you say, it was a blessing in disguise. It fueled the fire in my belly. Like when I didn't go to the Olympics, it was like, right, where's the next step? I'm not standing on ceremony. What's the next move? And the next move was to turn pro with Matchroom in the zone.
We have a question in our chat from Ray from the UK, who also has his own podcast too. His question is, who was tougher between De La Cruz and Soufiane Oumiha?
Yeah, definitely Soufiane. I boxed De La Cruz 3 times and beaten 3 times. I boxed Soufiane once in the European Union finals, and Soufiane was one of the best boxers I've ever been in the ring with, to be honest.
Nice.
Olympic silver medalist, won countless gold medals. He won a world gold medal, beating Lazaro Alvarez in the final. He was a very skilled operator.
Really,
yeah.
Now, what can you say? Sorry, I apologize for cutting you off. But what can you say, like, because you said he's the best boxer you've been in there with. Like, what exactly about him? Was it the speed? Was it just him being smart? Was it the power? What exactly separated him for you to say that he was clearly the best?
His judgment of distance, his timing, his patience. He wouldn't. I was trying to draw him in, but he wouldn't. He'd never come. He would just wait on you and counter you. The speed of the counter. He's a very clever fighter. He's I say he's probably the best boxer I've ever boxed. Not the best I've ever been in the ring with. Like I've been over to your shows before, I went over to Colorado in 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
To train, obviously with Team GB, to train with the USA squad in the Olympic training centre. And I done the first year I done a few rounds with Duke Reagan.
Yes,
Very good fighter.
Yeah.
Very good fighter. In the second year I went over, I done some rounds with Shakur and Keyshawn Davis as well. So
nice. Oh, you got some good sparring in. Nice. You see what I mean? That's what I mean. These are the little things that that people don't know. Like, nobody knows your name yet, but you've been in the ring sparring with the best guys. You've competed at the highest level. Yeah. I got my money on you.
Quality fighters.
Exactly.
Good setup as well over in the USA training centre. Obviously, you've got K Karoma. Gives you a lot of good advice all the time, and he's got a lot of fighters there. I think he's taken a few of them pro as well now. So good luck to all them lads there. No doubt in my mind they'll be world champions. They're terrific fighters.
I wanted to ask
quick question from Ray. Mike, just a quick question from Ray.
Graham Rutherford.
Yes, he wanted to ask how good of a coach is Graham Rutherford.
Yeah.
Oh, Graham's the man behind the magic, man, isn't he? He goes under the radar so much, Graham, because he doesn't like the spotlight and that. But he's the best coach I've ever worked with. Obviously, all the coaches not down the GB squad now. I've got a lot of time for them. They're very, very good coaches, experienced international coaches. But Graham's technical side in that, nothing really comes close to it, to be honest. Obviously, he's trained us, trained me, trained the McCormack twins, trained Mark Dickinson. He's trained all of us up through leading up to going on GB from when we've been kids. It's not like he was like handed when we were good fighters. He was given to when we were given to him when we were like really young kids, and he's sculpted with styles and sculpted with character and into who we are today. So like massive respect to him and owe a lot to him. Not just in the ring, out the ring as well. You not know this, but I was working at a factory when I was about 18 and I got let go. So Graham was a scrap man at the time. So Graham gives us a job working with him on the scrap. Nice. And I was practicing for my driving test. I had my driving test coming up. So he was letting us drive the scrap van round. So the day before my test, it's been pouring down with rain. And basically, the faster you get round the round, the faster you get home. So I've been flying round the round. And it's been pouring down with rain. There's no tread on the tyres. I've come off a roundabout and I've been snaky in the scrap van along the road, completely lost control of it, went flying off the road in loads of trees and completely wrote it off. I had to get towed away and everything, man. And then I passed my test the next day. Now, like a bit of pre-match nerves there. But Graham's been there for, not just in the ring, like I say, out the ring as well. He's been like a father figure to all of us. Obviously, the twins and Mark, they went down a different path now. They're training down in London with Ben Davison. But I'm still at Berkeley with Graham, and Cyrus Patterson's still at Berkeley as well. So I think we're staying there for now. I don't change it if it's not broken. That's what I say.
Exactly. Since signing with Matchroom, well, like how long was Matchroom scouting you? Do you know how long they were scouting you before they wanted to sign?
Yeah. So Matchroom had who's managing my career now, Charlie Sims. He had been coming down Sheffield since about 2018. Okay. Talking to us and asking like what my plans were and like saying what I'm going to be doing. So he's managing my career now. He's the son of Tony Sims, the trainer from the Matchroom gym. So I either like I say since 2018, I think I was talking to Charlie about wondering what I was doing. I didn't know whether I was turning pro. I wanted to go to the Olympics. That was the plan. When I was at 60 kilo, I was the number one there. So I was thinking I'm going to go to the Olympics and then turn pro. When 60 kilo got taken out, it was like a crossroads. I wasn't really sure what I was doing. I know GB were quite keen to keep us on for another cycle,
Right.
but it wouldn't have left us much time to make a dent in the pro game. So I just made the decision to turn over. Like,
Nice.
So what are some of the short-term goals that you and the Matchroom team have in set in the next, say, 6 months to a year? What are you guys planning? How many times you want to fight? Where are you going to fight?
I want to be as active as possible this year. Like, I want to be as busy as possible. Actually, I think I've got 4 6-rounders, 2 8-rounders, and 2 10-rounders in my contract.
Yeah.
But that can be moved quicker if needs be. Hopefully, I want to be boxing for a title in the next 18 months.
Yeah.
18 months, 2 years. But like I say, this year is about activity. It's about activity, consistency. I want to be boxing as much as I can, getting as much experience as I can in the pros, because it's a different game, innit? You've got to learn the tricks of the trade and that, haven't you? Like, completely different. Like, I learned a lot in my first fight. Now that it's a tougher game than the amateur game, and you've got to prepare better. You've got to be fitter. You've got to be stronger. It's more like a fight. Like, I heard someone say not long ago, amateur boxing's like a chess match, and professional boxing's war.
Basically, yes.
Is.
I was, because my next question was going to ask you, like, what do you see as the biggest difference between the amateur and the pro level? But you just answered it right there. You know, you're right, because in 3 rounds, it's a high pace, but it's high pace chess match, because there's not too many knockouts. You're trying to hurry up and get some points and not get hit. At the pro level, you're right, it is war, because it's, you're going, even though you're still in between 4 and 6 rounds right now, eventually you're going to be spreading that out to more rounds. So you got to be able to, think your way through the war, like you said.
All right.
Just going back to, I'm a boxing coach myself, so I appreciate hearing about other good coaches like Graham Rutherford. Specifically, you mentioned before about your different style, and this is something that Mike noticed too. The different style that you have, specifically, like that sneak uppercut that you do. I mean, everyone could throw a nice uppercut, but the way you do it, it's different. And I'm assuming is that a
Graham Rutherford trick?
Yes.
Or is that?
I obviously we just been working on everything in the gym, man. We've been working on the inside game, because as an amateur, I was very long range. I didn't really work much on the inside, but obviously you've got to alter that in the pros. You're gonna have to box on the, even though like I that's probably still me my best boxing ability is to box long, but I'm gonna have to adapt and box on the inside sometimes as well, because obviously you need to in the pros. You've got to work inside, and you've got to stay busy. So we're just working on that sneaky little uppercut in the gym. When he comes inside, just let it go as soon as he's inside. Got to punch first on the inside, really. Like, can't let him get his work off first. So as soon as he's inside, bang, let him go.
Yeah, there was one combo specifically that I watched you throw, and it was you countered him with that inside left, and then you backed out, and then threw the jab quick, and then wow, just that straight left drilled the guy, man. Like, your ability to bounce back and come in was really quick, man. It's really fast. What kind of drills do you do to work on that, on gaining that kind of speed to be able to close that distance so quickly like that?
Yeah, so with Berkeley being an amateur gym originally, when all the way through we've been drilled these footwork drills. So it's been like since I've been like 12 years old, we've been in and out on the feet, fast feet. So we've been working on footwork. We've worked on footwork for the past like 10 years or something, and Berkeley in and out, fast feet, in and out, judge the distance and counter, like feint and counter. So I think that itself has just been drilled into us over the years, and just like it's ingrained in us now, like.
Yeah, that's great fundamentals from a great coach, man. That's really right.
Exactly.
Good base. You need a good base to be a champ.
Definitely solid base.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so for the people out there that don't really know who you are, what would you say would represent your best performance in the ring so far? What opponent?
I'm not really sure. Like, if you watch some of my WSBs, and I've boxed well in some of my WSBs. Obviously, you can watch that pro debut. That's a good performance. I boxed quite well in that. Obviously, it's not against a massive caliber, because I was boxing quite a high caliber of opponent in the amateurs, and he wasn't as high. Obviously, when you start out in the pros, you're not boxing at that high international level as an amateur. But boxed in some major competitions all over the world against some of the top lads in the lightweight division. So you can probably find some of the fights are there on YouTube. Yuri Shestak, the one I was talking about before, the bloke who ended me 35 winning streak. That's on YouTube in the European semi-finals, where I lost on a 3-2 split. That's a good fight to watch as well. So you can find some really good performances on YouTube, I think. Like
our friend Ray in the chat is mentioning your ABA final versus McGrail in the Liverpool.
Great performance, yeah. That's what he's saying.
That was a tough fight against Peter. I'm good friends with Peter now, so that was like my breakthrough onto the GB to get us onto the GB team. So I wasn't on GB at the time, and then that was my first senior national title. So I boxed Peter in the final. Peter was already on GB at the time, and I beat him in Liverpool. It was a tough fight. But like I say, that got us onto the GB team and made us break onto the international scene.
Nice. Any plans on? You already traveled to North America for some great sparring, like you mentioned before. Any plans on coming back for a training camp or anything like that? As you can see, I have a gym here that you can use too.
I would love to. I would love to get over there sparring. Obviously, everyone knows the American gyms are the best for the pro sparring. So if I get the opportunity to go over there, I'll jump at the chance straight away, because I know it's tough sparring over there, and you've got plenty of good pros. So it can only bring us on. Obviously, the only way you come on in anything, in any sport, and anything you do, is to be in there with people who are either on the same level as you or higher level than you, which brings you on. So you want to be pushing for that tough sparring all the time, and USA is where the tough sparring is, like, isn't it?
Exactly.
What do you think separates you from every other athlete in your weight class?
Me mindset, me drive. A lot of fighters have got the ability, but they haven't got the dedication. A lot of fighters have got the dedication, but they haven't got the ability. I honestly believe I've got the full package. I've got the ability, and I think I've got the dedication to go with it. I cranked it up even more since I left GB. Then completely dedicated myself to the sport, and everything I do is just geared towards, and how can I make myself better? How can I make myself stronger? How can I recover better from each session? Do you know what I mean? Everything's geared toward, like, if I'm in training camp, everything's geared towards the next session. How can you recover better for the next session? How can I perform better in the next session? Do you know what I mean? So just that dedication and the skill set to go with it.
Yeah. You got a fight coming up in March. Opponent not yet determined, or do you know, or are you not allowed to say yet?
No, I haven't been, to be honest, mate. I haven't been given an opponent yet. Like last time, my first fight, I didn't get the opponent until the last couple of weeks before the fight. But it doesn't really matter too much to me, because when you're boxing these international competitions for GB, like you'll go to the weigh-in, you'll weigh in, and you get the draw, so you don't know who you're fighting until a couple of hours before the tournament starts anyway. So I'm used to not knowing who I'm fighting and just adapting on the day. But obviously, we'll probably have a couple of weeks to have a look at the opponent when we get it through, and Graham will fathom out a game plan for her.
Put together a game plan for the big win.
Well, Mike and I also have a Sunday show called Knockout of the Week, so hopefully you'll be on there after your next performance.
Yeah, man, I'm thinking so. I'm thinking it's gonna be a nice fancy one, very very highlight reel-esque.
Especially with that uppercut, if you can land that uppercut,
that counter uppercut, man, that'd be a nice pretty one. Because that's always a pretty one, because the minute you step out of the way, he just falls.
Yeah.
I'll be looking for that now.
Definitely. Calum, do you want to be loved or you want to be feared in your career?
It It doesn't really matter to me, you know, mate. As long as I just be myself and get in the ring and get the wins, you can love us, you can fear us, you can think what you want about us.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
We froze there. We'll get him back in a second. Man, I had technical difficulties myself. Couldn't even get on.
What other stats can you tell us about Calum?
Calum, man, yo, let me tell you a little bit. Let me refresh everybody.
Yes, please.
Yo, Calum was a European bronze medalist in 2017, and he enjoyed a 35 fight winning streak from 2012 to 2017 for
Hello, lads.
5 years. We're just going over how for 5 years you were dominant. I mean, 35 fight win streak dominant.
Yes.
And we're just letting the audience know again how dominant you were in your amateur career if they don't know who you are.
Take us through that zone, because most people can't just fathom going through a single boxing match itself. But and not only did you go through a 35 winning streak, but it's 35 wins at a high level, not just regular club shows. So can you just, obviously physically it's one thing, but can you just talk through us mentally, how much of a zone were you in to be able to stay that focused for that?
Yeah. Just it was. I think winning's a habit. I think once you get it, it is. Once you get into it and your mindset's in the winning mindset, it's very tough to get out of it. And when it was a tough one as well, because when you're winning a lot, you lose not the love for winning, but now when you come to lose, you realize how much you loved winning. When you've won a few on the bounce, you win and it's yes. Yeah. When you lose, you think, how good was winning? How I want to get back to the winning ways, and that's what it made us realize how much I loved winning when I took that loss in the Europeans. It was a tough one to swallow, but you've got to take them defeats and make you stronger. You've got to feel forward and feel forward and push on from it. Make sure you learn from every defeat, because that's where the lessons are in the defeats. I say when you're winning all the time, there's not as many lessons in it.
Right.
And when you start losing, you start realizing that's where the lessons are, and that's where you grow. Your growth comes from your defeats and your lessons.
What do you think the greatest lesson that you've learned from any of your losses is?
That is a good question. That.
Well, you can take a minute. You can take a minute to think of what you need, man. I know. I popped that one right in there like that.
Just like I say, just to not take it for granted, because when you're winning all the time, I don't know if I was taking it for granted, and then when I lost, that's when you realise. So you've got to keep your mind in that winning mindset. You've got to keep. I don't know, I can't think back now, but I don't know if I slacked off in training a little bit, or if if something like that happened. I don't think I would have, because I'm not that type of kid. You know what I mean? I put everything into every training camp for each fight, but thinking back, I might have little things I might have missed leading up to it, which might have made us get the loss, but. Like I say, that's where you learn from it, isn't it?
Yeah, true. With when it comes to your career, I know it's going to be a long one. You're just starting out now. I know you have no thoughts of it, but eventually, when you're ready to hang up the gloves, what do you want to be remembered for in the sport? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I think I just want to be remembered for boxing, not never ducking anyone, boxing everyone. Being in some classic fights, being in some tough fights, being a world champion. That is the main goal. I want to be a world champion. Just like I say, just boxing everyone, boxing the best, not ducking anyone. Obviously, you see these days, because there's so many governing bodies, a lot of you get away with boxing easier fights and stuff. But I want to be one of them where I'll be game to fight anyone, keen as mustard to fight anyone. I think that's how you've got to be. I think that's where like you determine who the best is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like with all the politics going on in boxing, what are like some of the biggest challenges that you faced so far in your career that have been like, kind of politically upheld or like how have the politics affected you the most? What's been the worst so far? Oh, did we freeze?
Well, might have froze again.
maybe the question was too serious.
The powers that be don't want him to answer that.
Yeah, I know. The boxing world's like, listen, Mike, you can't be asking that kind of stuff. Leave the politics out of the game, people. Well, we'll get him back in a minute. We'll find out what the answer to that question is. And what it was is, what is the greatest challenge that he's faced today with all the politics in boxing? And what kind of political bullshit have they put him through or stopped him from doing? That's
I'm just guessing right now because he's early in his career. He hasn't really faced any of that stuff yet. Where I think it's going to affect him is later on when he's probably about 12, 13 fights in, and he's getting ready for a championship, and then people realize who they're up against, and they're not going to be too willing to get in the ring with Mr. French, and that's where he's going to find problems. Go ahead, ask him, Mike. Now that he's back.
Yes. So, greatest challenge that you faced, political or non-political. Have you been stopped from fighting certain people? Have people been stopped from fighting you? Like, just run us through some of the politic bullshit in boxing.
Yeah, definitely. The biggest political decision that was made in my career, that was the biggest effect on my career. So, as I was explaining to Benn and that before, when I was training for the Olympics, I was 4 years out from the Olympics. I was the number one at 60 kilo for 4 years. I was the number one at 60. Luke was the number one at 64, and Pat was the number one at 69. But the year before the Olympics, they took 60 kilo out. So I had to move up into 63 kilo. They merged 64 and 60 together to make 63. But obviously Luke was closer to that weight and was established already at that weight. So it meant I couldn't go to the Olympics, which had been a dream of mine since I'd been 9 years old. Since I walked into that gym, since I lied about my age, when I was 9 years old to get in that gym, all I thought about was the Olympics. Obviously, me long-term goals and that were to turn pro after the Olympics. Right. But because the Olympics was my first goal, that's all I'd ever thought about. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to medal at the Olympics and then go pro. So having that taken away from us, like the year before the Olympics, and being so close to getting it, and then having it ripped away from us, it was a tough one to swallow. But like a lot of
that connection.
It's the witching hour. That's why it's the witching hour, folks. That's where everybody just got home from work and everybody's on the internet all at once.
Basically.
Yeah, I think we'll get him back here in a second. We're gonna ask him a couple more questions. I'm gonna wrap up because I know he's a very busy man, and he's got probably fight camp starting in a week or so. So
yeah, I gotta get going in a couple of minutes here myself.
Yeah. So we'll ask him a couple more questions as soon as we get him back, and we'll go from there, man.
Did he say? Did he have a name? Oh no, there was no name for his next opponent.
No, not yet, and he doesn't care. He's just gonna get in there and do what he does best, and that's smash people out, man. Honestly, great. The kid's actually a really good boxer, man. He's got great ring IQ. Can't wait to see him back in the ring.
Mm-hmm. There he is.
Yes, Calum, we're gonna not keep you too much longer because I know you're such a busy man, and I know you got this fight coming up in a month that you got to prep for, and you can only talk so long because you gotta get some sleep. I know it's probably 10, 11 o'clock over there right now. So, honestly, I wanted to ask, with such a highly decorated amateur career, what was it like balancing your academic goals and your academic career with boxing? How was it hard to do both?
Not particularly. Not particularly. Obviously, that I was. I used to have to run before school, so I used to do me running before school, go to school, then go to the gym after school. So it wasn't too bad. I ended up getting my GCSEs and that. I didn't do too bad at school, like, but I was just like, obviously I missed out on a lot growing up now with obviously all your mates and that going out, and you missed out on your youth a bit. But that's like one of the sacrifices you've got to be willing to make. It didn't really bother us that much, to be honest. Like, I've been lucky enough to have the gym to go to. Like, a lot of people around my area and that, like, didn't have gyms and that to go to, and didn't have boxing clubs to be in, and they've ended up going down the wrong path of drugs and alcohol, and that ended up like so some have ended up dead and ill, and you know what I mean. So I say, them sacrifices of sacrificing your youth a bit, they were worth it, because I had somewhere to go. I had like a salvage point, you know what I mean. I had somewhere to turn to. And
I was about to say, how were you with all the distractions and stuff like that, how were you able to stay focused and not get caught up in those distractions? But you kind of said it, just thinking about your goals and the boxing gym, that helped you stay focused. Was there anything else? Obviously your coach was a great inspiration outside of the ring too. So was it those two main things, like just knowing that you had a gym to go to and a coach that had your back inside and out of the ring? I'm assuming were the main things that helped you stay focused.
It was the drive to win the national titles as well, because when I moved to Berkeley from my first club, all them were already national champions, and I was thinking, like, national champion, these are the best in the country. Like, I want to be doing what they're doing. So it's the competitive side of us now. I'm a very competitive person, so I was saying, when I got there and they were all national champions already, I was thinking, I want a piece of that cake. Do you know what I mean? So it was that drive in us. I was thinking, when my mates were going out on the drink and that, I was like, I'm not even asked about that. I want to be a national champion. Me, I want to do what the lads in the gym are doing. I want to be boxing for England. Do you know what I mean? I want to be going to the Europeans, the Worlds. I wasn't asked about going on the drink, me. I just want to be champ.
Nice.
I just want to be the champ.
Honestly, that's recipe for success, man. You need a lot of willpower. You need to be able to stay focused, and definitely you're showing that, man. Especially with the highly decorated amateur career that you've had, man. 17 national tournaments or something like that, 14 golds, and then a 5-year win streak. Like, that's dedication, man. That's pure dedication. And honestly, I can't wait to watch the rest of your pro career. It's going to be great, man.
Seriously.
I think he froze again, but we'll get him back in a second so we can actually say bye to him.
Yeah. We'll get him back just to close it out. Yeah, man, that's good, man. I'm great. Thanks for putting me on to him.
Yeah.
And
Ray. Shout out to Ray.
Yes. Yeah, Ray. Shout out to Ray. Thank you very much.
Thanks for putting us on to Calum French, man. It's been a slice.
Yeah.
And Ray, thanks for coming on Tuesday, man, to join us. In the meantime, man, when we're waiting for him to get back. Oh, there he is. Perfect. There he is.
There's the lad.
This is awesome. Great answer, everybody. Everybody on the comments is loving the answers, man. It's great. I guess we won't keep you too much longer, man. We know you're busy. When you find out your opponent, shoot us a message, let us know so we can help advertise and promote and push and let the people know who you are around the world. Because definitely, guys that are watching around the world right now, Calum French, be on the lookout for this kid, man. He is definitely a force to be reckoned with in this pro division, man. Go check out. We will drop his first fight in the comments, man, on a link so you guys can see. You don't even have to search for it. How about that? And Calum, man, personally, I just want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and join us here. Honestly, we'd love to have you back either, before or after your next fight so we can, talk to the fans and let them know how you're doing and everything.
Of course, mate, anytime. Thank you for having us on, and it's a pleasure to be on here speaking to you. It's a nice one.
In case anybody is not following you yet, let people know where they can follow you on social media or Twitter, or Instagram, so they can follow your career too.
I follow us at Calum French _ on Instagram, Twitter, Calum French on Facebook, LinkedIn as well, Calum French. follow us in your career. It's gonna be a good one.
Oh, it's definitely going to be a good one. I got great feelings about this. I can't wait till you come back on a Sunday for that knockout of the week award with that nasty inside uppercut, man.
Yes.
I'm predicting people going to sleep right now. But yes,
nice one. Definitely be looking for that one now.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be great. Calum, just stick around after we sign off, man, so we can thank you personally. To all the Knuckle Up fans that are watching, thanks for tuning in. Sorry that I was late with my technical difficulties today, guys, but Cedric, you held it down like a champ.
I tried.
Yeah, man. Guys, you know what it is tomorrow. Hannah Hansen in the studio, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plus, we got Female Friday at 4. Plus, the Friday night panel. We got lots going on. So, guys, make sure you come check the channel tomorrow. If you haven't yet, go to talkinfight.com, hit that subscribe, and set those reminders. And we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same channel, new prospect.
See ya. Peace.